What is going on? Everybody, it's time for your weekly WWE review or WWE weekly review or review weekly WWE. I think it's what we should call it. We should just switch it, shock everybody. I think we need to throw them off, Casey. We talked about throwing you guys off with another intro, but we're not going to do that. But anyway, weekly WWE. I'm still going to call it the weekly WWE review. I don't know why, but I'm going to call it that because it keeps coming to my mind. Weekly before WWE. That's how it happens, Casey. I don't understand. Why is it doing this to me? Why? Anyway, the WWE weekly review for 11/28 through 11/30. Be sure to hit that subscribe button for us. Give us the follow on Twitter so we can talk about WWE. Because we just want to talk to you. We just want to talk to you. But we will be right back.
Not you, and not you. Not you.
Yeah.
You.
The other guy, the other one over there. Yeah, that one over there. Yeah, behind you. Yeah. But anyway.
And then the one
we're gonna talk.
You look kind of weird, so I mean, I might talk to you, but you got to talk to me first. But you're cool. You're cool.
But you know, we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk to them. We're gonna talk to you here in a second. You right there. We're gonna talk to you.
I already know it. I know we about to shine because we already glowing.
Welcome to the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always an instant classic.
And your
and we want to punch Jim Cornette in the face repeatedly until he bleeds because he's stupid. We'll see you on the flip. Oh yeah.
Alrighty, guys, we are back. The WWE review. We're talking about Raw, Smackdown, NXT, and we actually got 205 Live this week. That debuted this week on the WWE network of the WWEs. So that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see a new show with 205 Live. But I think we should start with Raw. I mean, I think it just makes sense, I guess, right?
You know what? I think we should start with TNA.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I think you did. You got me on that one. You know, I think that was what was missing.
Yeah, and then we go to ECW, then to Raw, then to WCW. Yeah.
So we just skip SmackDown altogether, right? Like we just skip it.
No, we'll get to that. We'll get to SmackDown.
Okay. I mean, you know, it doesn't sound like a terrible idea. It sounds like a bad idea, but it doesn't sound like a terrible idea. I'm not even, I'm not even gonna lie. But I'm gonna let you give your thoughts on Raw first because it was Raw, and it was War, and it was Raw.
The War of the Raw. I thought Raw was pretty good. There was something about the in-ring segment with Sami Zayn and Foley that I loved. I loved the chin tense, angry Sami Zayn. That's the first chin. That's the first one of the review. First one. Oh, chin ring. Sorry, chin ring segment. We have to continue with the chins because it works. But I definitely like this angry Sami Zayn, kind of not dealing with the crap that he's have to deal with anymore. There's rumors of him going to SmackDown. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I've been hearing a couple of different reports and things like that. That would be cool, I think. But the cruiserweight match seemed, for me, it seemed really early. I don't know if DJ thought it seemed early, but I know usually it's like on the third hour, but it seemed really early for some reason. I do like that they feel like they're slowly introducing storylines. I know originally we were kind of upset that they didn't really have any storylines in the cruiserweight division, but it feels like they're starting to kind of introduce other storylines other than the main title storyline with Cedric Alexander and Alicia Fox. I guess they're gonna start some sort of love interest thing there. I mean, I guess.
There's nothing else to do, Alicia Fox, so why not?
Yeah, you could push her for a week and then not do anything with her because that's what they do. I was definitely hyped for the parking lot brawl between Jericho and Rollins. I liked it. I feel like we haven't really seen something like that in so long. We've slowly been getting more, fighting in the crowd and some backstage stuff, but it feels like we haven't seen like a parking lot brawl since like the Attitude Era. So I was definitely excited for that. I thought that was cool. But yeah, I thought Raw was pretty good. It wasn't the greatest, but it was good. I enjoyed it. DJ?
Yeah. I was excited about the highlight reel. I thought that was pretty funny. Freaking, I love the brawl in the parking lot. I thought that was real cool. I just thought, because like you said, we don't see it a lot. So when we do see it, you kind of appreciate it a little bit more, I think. When you finally see it, and it was a pretty cool brawl watching them kind of go at it. And I don't think any of us expected it, which made it even cooler. Like it wasn't one of those things where we were like, this is gonna happen right now, and because I didn't really expect it, so I thought, I definitely thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, the cruiserweight match was kind of early, and it was kind of one of those weird things where like it was confusing because like and we'll talk about this when we talk about 205 Live, but 205 Live was debuting, or their first episode was going to be on Tuesday, so it was kind of weird to see how they were going to like kind of promote it and how because really they were just random matches, weren't they? Like there wasn't any meaning behind them, I thought, which was kind of weird. But yeah, like I like that they're still like promoting the cruiserweight division, and even at the end of 205 Live they talked about how going to see the fallout on Raw. So I wonder, I'm kind of curious to see how the two shows are gonna keep promoting the cruiserweight division consistently. Like, is one show just gonna be kind of a spotlight, and the other one's gonna be for building storylines? Or I'm kind of curious to see how that's gonna play out now that they have 205 Live and they have Raw, basically with the cruiserweight division on it. Let's see. The Roman Reigns beating Kevin Owens. I wasn't too mad about this. I kind of want to see what they're going to do with it. I don't know if Reigns is going to win the title, but I kind of want to see what they're going to do with it because like we've seen Rollins do the whole United States Championship, World Championship. I guess this would be Universal Championship in this regard, but I wonder if they would pull the trigger on that again because like it's one of those rare things. Like we weren't expecting it to happen when it happened, and then and now like I think we really don't expect it because it's kind of like, really, like would they really go for that twice? But I don't know. It's been twice in that span too, like within a year or whatever. Maybe a little over a year. I'm not surprised that Brock Lesnar declared for the Royal Rumble. I'm not surprised at that at all. I had a feeling he would, since Goldberg was in it. Or if he wasn't going to be in the Rumble, he was going to screw Goldberg out of the Rumble in some form or fashion and try to build for one more match where he can finally get a win. The New Day felt really heelish this week, at least in the way they won. Not necessarily in like their antics or anything. It was just the way they won the match. It just felt like it was like really like it just felt like old New Day a little bit. I don't know if you felt like that, but like when I watched it, I was like, it just felt like kind of like old school New Day, and I am curious to see if they're going to turn heel before giving up the titles or even after giving up the titles, and see if they actually keep the New Day together but turn them heel, and see if they try to make it kind of make a fresh spin on it in that form or fashion. But I'm not too sure. And then Sasha Banks defeating Charlotte. I think they're just officially in the feud. I don't know. I don't know. Like I'm kind of like on the fence about the, hot potatoing the title. Like there's times when I like it and there's times when I don't. And I've kind of liked it in this feud to build this feud on the main roster, because if you don't, if you don't watch NXT and you just watch the main roster, then you wouldn't know anything about their history. You wouldn't know anything about that feud. So this would be the first time you see them. And when you see them kind of both winning the title back and forth like that, it puts a stigma on both women as being very competitive, knowing each other very well. So I mean, I kind of like it with this one, but then again, there's a little bit of me that's kind of like, again, like how many times are you gonna give Sasha the championship on Raw? So I really don't know how to feel about that. But definitely I enjoyed Raw. I thought it was a good match, a good show more so. I thought the show was good. Thought it turned out pretty well, and I was really excited watching it. I still get excited for Raw. I might be the kind of one of the only ones, but I still get excited for Raw. So it's one of those weird things that I still get excited for. But let's jump into SmackDown Live. That is actually still live right now because SmackDown Live. But the Becky Lynch Alexa Bliss contract signing, didn't this just feel like very like deja vu-esque, like we've seen this before or something? Like I felt like it just felt like we had just seen this, and obviously we saw it when they faced. I think it was before they faced on SmackDown, wasn't it? Didn't they do a contract signing then?
I don't know what you're talking about. Anything with Alexa Bliss is the greatest thing ever.
Right. But you like that's like saying like you've never seen them face before because Alexa Bliss is in it. Like you've seen them face before.
And it's the greatest thing ever because Alexa Bliss is in it.
This man don't even answer the question. It don't matter that Alexa Bliss was in it. But I did like Alexa Bliss in this segment. I think she's doing a good job with her heel stuff, and we'll talk about some. Actually, I'm gonna jump into that now because the Carmella thing. Stop it. Just, like it's not even the John Cena thing. It's like Carmella is on that weird like she's on like the edge of like just acting too much. She's acting like too hard or whatever. It's just weird to me. I don't know if you get that vibe from Carmella, but it feels like she's trying too hard to act out what she's doing instead of just coming off natural like she did kind of in NXT. I just feel like she's trying really hard, and I'm like, why are you trying so hard? Stop it. I like the tag team match with Ziggler and Kalisto versus the Miz and Baron Corbin. I like the way they're trying to build that feud with a tag team match. I thought that was a good way of doing that, and I like how they did it. I was excited to see how they did that. Then the Ambrose Asylum was pretty funny. I still like Ambrose just as a comedic guy, just as being funny. He's just a funny guy. Him talking about James Ellsworth, he was like, God blessed you with a good bloodline. I thought that was funny. The Kane Luke Harper match, I skipped it. And then the Wyatts. The Wyatts in their little like the Wyatts are the number one contenders now? Okay. All right then. That's fine, I guess. I saw it as weird that American Alpha comes out and wins the Invitational or what is it called again?
Nobody from NXT recently is ever going to win the tag team titles. That's the thing. It's gonna happen. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah, I just thought that was weird. I mean, I get they're kind of build Bray and Randy, but like, that's not like this is not one of those things that's gonna last long enough for us to really care about it. Is kind of the thing, and I think that's kind of the issue. It's like I don't see this lasting long enough for it to really matter if they won the titles. Like it's not gonna last that long. But anyway, Casey, thoughts on SmackDown? I know there was another backstage brawl, but I freaking missed it. And now I'm trying to go back and watch it. But anyway, thoughts on SmackDown?
This episode of SmackDown Live, while it wasn't the one that I was at live, but this episode opened with the real queen, Alexa Bliss. I think Renee Young and Becky Lynch were there too at some point, but I don't know. I can't be sure. I didn't really pay attention to them, but I know Becky Lynch did come in at some point because she needs to immediately be suspended and stripped of the title for violently assaulting Alexa and having the nerve to call her Lexi. You do not just call her Lexi. You have to earn that. You have to earn the right to call her Lexi. This is just wrong. Anyway, I'll try to move on. But one thing I really, and this kind of talking about the Carmella thing, and it's I touched on it a little bit in our predictions for the paper for TLC coming up. And it's a booking thing. They're trying to build Carmella as a heel, but the way they're doing it is by having her verbally attack Nikki's boyfriend, John Cena. How the hell is that going to build her heel heat? Everyone hates John Cena. Like, what? Like, even WWE has to be smart enough to realize that the majority of the fans hate John Cena and are sick of John Cena. So why would you try to build heel heat by insulting? It just did, to me, it didn't make sense at all. And I do kind of agree that, and I don't really think it's her fault. I mean, obviously, you know, she hasn't been on the main roster for too awful long. You know, she kind of came up with that last, you know, big group of women from NXT. So, I mean, it does kind of feel like she is trying really a bit too hard, but, you know, I feel like you kind of have to, because everyone is kind of competing for your position on Raw and SmackDown. You're still competing for your job. You know, you don't have that, you know, definite job. You know, nobody's John Cena and just has a job because, you know, so I could see why she's, you know, trying to, you know, maybe doing it too much, but, you know, she's trying to do the best that she can with what they're giving her. And she's trying to give, you know, the best performance she can. And it feels a little bit overboard, but, you know, I would rather feel overboard than not perform enough and, you know, be cut or be taken out of a storyline on TV personally. But I did like the Ambrose Asylum. I love the Chinspirational James Ellsworth. But when AJ threw him out of the ring, I don't know if you saw this spot. His feet were hooked on the rope like this man was trying to stay in the Royal Rumble. I was like, what are you, like, I know they were trying to go for that chair spot, but no. You're just trying too hard right there, WWE. You're trying too hard. And you know, and then the Styles Clash on the steps was pretty cool. Yeah, I definitely liked the Ambrose Asylum, but yeah, that's about it for SmackDown.
All right. Well, let's move on. Come on. Well, I know we had Casey's favorite match of the night. We'll get to that. We had Asuka versus Nicole Matthews. I was pretty excited because it's been a while since we've seen Asuka on just a normal show, just like, you know, wrestling. So it's pretty cool. She usually gets a match like right after she wins at TakeOver, so I wasn't too surprised. It was cool to see Eric Young versus No Way Jose. I was just excited to see Eric Young in this show. I was excited to see, you know, Eric Young finally getting on TV again, or on the network again. It's on TV. Anyway, I was just excited to see that, and I still like what they're doing with Sanity. I like Nikki Cross's involvement in this. I thought that was pretty cool. I just like Sanity as like a faction, you know, as a group. I just think they mesh very well, I feel like. And then Ty Dillinger slapping Samoa Joe is hilarious. And then when Samoa Joe faced Ty Dillinger there at the end of the night, actually a longer match than I expected, because the way Casey explained it, you would think it was 3 seconds. It wasn't. It's actually a very competitive match. But anyway, you know, definitely.
I'll tell you the truth, fans. When I get my turn, I'll tell you the truth.
It was Actually, a very competitive and long match. I mean, considering there were only 3 matches on the show, like that's how it works. But anyway, definitely, it was an okay NXT. There wasn't really much feud building as there rarely ever is after the so. But yeah, I mean, decent show. Casey, thoughts on NXT?
Um, I do definitely like Nicole Matthews. I've seen some of her matches in the indies on YouTube and stuff. So I was kind of upset that she was jobbed out to Asuka. I was like, no, give her a chance. And they didn't. They just jobbed her out. I was like, okay, whatever. But I was so pumped when the perfect buffoon, Ty Can't Finish a Feud Dillinger, slapped Samoa Joe, because I was just hoping. I was hoping that this meant that Joe was going to kill him. I was praying. So I prayed to the wrestling gods, to JBL, basically. I prayed to JBL because he.
Or is it Matt Hardy's deities? Like which one?
I actually prayed to both of them. So it was a lot of praying, because the deities, you have to pray to each one separately. So it took a while. But I did like No Way Jose versus Eric Young. The hanging dragon sleeper in the corner by EY was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
Jose still has the stupidest finisher though in the WWE. They need to change that. Just please, anything. A vertical suplex would be better than that stupid baseball punch thing. It's so dumb. EY gets the win via disqualification by Nikki Cross and Sawyer Fulton, or via distraction, I should say, by Nikki Cross and Sawyer Fulton. I love Nikki Cross so much. She is so crazy. I love it. I love her running down the ramp after the match and attacking Jose again. That was awesome. And then the backstage segment with Asuka saying there's no more competition for her, and then the camera kind of pans over to the title, got me thinking, does this mean that she's going to maybe relinquish the title and go to the main roster? I mean, if she's saying that there's no more competition, and if she just said that, I would say, okay, somebody's going to obviously come up, like maybe Ember Moon or whatever, and challenge her. But then when it panned over to the title, I thought that was a little bit weird. They don't usually do something like that unless something like she's going to drop the title or whatever. Something's going to happen. So that definitely got me kind of curious as to what they're going to do. And we do need to have a moment of silence for the not great -10. Ty Can't Finish a Feud Dillinger.
He's fine, don't it?
Joe straight wrecked that fool. He left him laying. He was knocked out. He was dead. He was forced to retire. I saw it on the internet, and if it's on the internet, it has to be true. He was forced into retirement because he was beaten so bad.
Wait, let's move on to 205 Live. I was excited about this just because I've heard a lot of good things about this show, just from people kind of just talking about it. So I was excited to kind of see how it would play out. I think putting the cruiserweights, although still they're going to be on Raw, taking them off of kind of like cable television is going to help them. But I don't know if it's going to help them to be following SmackDown. I think that's the only thing, is like that crowd is not going to be able to withstand but so much. Now, I mean, I get it. Like, it's the same as Raw. It's a 3-hour show. But, like, I don't think the crowd can stay into the show as much as they want to, just because they've been there for so long. But I don't know if you want to bring fans back in for just an hour of wrestling. So I don't really know how you want to do that. But I kind of hope they change it. I kind of hope they kind of make it how they did with the Cruiserweight Classic. They don't necessarily even have to tape it. Like they can still have it live, but I hope they just do it. Don't do it like right after SmackDown or do something different with it. I just don't want it right after SmackDown with the same crowd because I feel like the crowd is just pooped after SmackDown. But I was excited going in. WWE, I noticed. No one else may have noticed, but I noticed. You forgot to change the tabletop on the announce table. It still says SmackDown Live at the beginning of the show. I noticed. You can see Austin Aries' eye through his glasses. That's how bad it is. You can see it through his glasses. I could see it. I was like, no, that's not right. No. But I like the whole. I don't know. I kind of like the whole introduction with the cruiserweights to the WWE Universe type thing that they did. I like them kind of letting you know who's going to be in the division and everything. I really didn't know how to feel about that because I kind of liked it on one hand, but on the other hand, I was like, is that too gimmicky? Is that too like, I mean, it's wrestling, so it's gonna be gimmicky. But like, is it too like, is it just too much? Just introducing them, because LOL. But I did like the kind of little face off that Rich Swann and Brian Kendrick had. I thought that was pretty cool. The Bollywood Boys against Tony Nese and Drew Gulak. Definitely thought it was a good match. I still don't think these matches right at this point are up to the caliber that they were when they were doing the Cruiserweight Classic stuff. I just don't feel like it is. It just doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel like it's the same, even the same like style of wrestling or something. Like there's something about it that just is a little bit off, and maybe it was just because this was the first show. But like, I mean, I enjoyed the show, but I wasn't like blown away by this show. Now, albeit I actually watched this whole show, so I can't say I rushed through it. I actually watched this whole show. But yeah, I just feel like I don't know. There was something just off about it. I mean, I thought it was good. It just wasn't. It didn't like blow me away or anything. But I do enjoy the Bollywood Boys. I enjoy them just as a tag team. I think they're an entertaining tag team, and I'm kind of curious to see if they're gonna maybe introduce championships. Now, I mean, I think it kind of sounds like a lot, but if they're gonna have 205 Live kind of stand on its own, now obviously with Raw building here and there, they have enough. I feel like they have enough people. I don't know if they have enough depth or not because they have these tag teams that are in the cruiserweight division, so they're just gonna have them like stand on their own. It's just tag teams, or they're gonna have like something for them to fight for. But then we had Jack Gallagher, which I know Casey was fangirling out over him, going up against Daivari, which I was excited about. Still like Daivari a lot. A good match. It was kind of the same. I felt the same way about this one too. It was like there was just something that was a little bit off about it. I don't know what it was, but there was just something that was a little bit off about it to me. And then the main event, Rich Swann versus Brian Kendrick. I love this match. I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. I like them telling the story of Rich Swann and kind of getting the fans behind him a little bit. I think that's definitely a good way to go about doing it. Especially with these indie guys, because like a lot of times, especially like the typical kind of like WWE fan or the kind of WWE fan that doesn't step away from the indies for whatever reason, or doesn't step away to watch the indies. It's one of those situations where you really do have to explain to them kind of who these guys are. Like they just don't know. Like it's not necessarily that they don't want to know. It's not necessarily that they, some people just don't have time to watch all of the indies. Trust me, I get that all the time. As much as I want to watch Ring of Honor, I just don't have time to watch Ring of Honor. I barely have enough time to fill myself with WWE content. It's a lot, but definitely a good match. I enjoyed it. I already knew which one was going to win. From when I guess it was like Tuesday night. I think Casey messaged me and told me Rich Swann won, and I was like, okay, cool. But I was excited to watch the match, see how it played out. And then Justin told me again yesterday, just in case I forgot. Because why not? But definitely a good match. Yeah, definitely a good match. I mean, I thought the show was, it just didn't blow me away. Like, I hate to say it was just okay, but it just didn't blow me away. There was just something off about it. I don't know what it was, but to me personally, there was just something off about it. But Casey, thoughts on the debut episode of 205 Live?
It's because they're cruiserweights and DJ doesn't like small people. They have to be fat or he doesn't like them. I love 205 Live.
Oh, don't get me into that discussion. Don't get me into that discussion.
I loved it. There were a few things that were a little bit off that I'll get to, but I kind of went match to match just because it's a shorter show and it was the first one. But Bollywood Boys versus Drew Gulak and Tony Nese. I like that they opened with a tag team match. It's kind of something you wouldn't expect. I feel like you would just expect one-on-one cruiserweight matches. So that kind of shows that, hopefully they'll have a mix of match styles, not just, one-on-one matches, maybe like triple threat matches, tag team matches, maybe 6-man tags, things like that. I really hope they do book the whole roster on 205 Live kind of more equal and fairly, and not, have certain guys just, way more dominant and, these other guys don't have a chance. I just feel like that'll kill it before, it even has a chance, which is why I liked that the Bollywood Boys did win. I feel like if they were going for the typical WWE thing, they would have had Drew Gulak and Tony Nese win, just because they're...
Especially considering we haven't seen the Bollywood Boys at all.
I did love Aries saying, "Is this one herp or derp?" Talking about the Bollywood Boys. And then we had the super kick, and yes, I did do the Carino super kick. I did for the win for the Bollywood Boys. I was definitely excited. I did like the video packages and stuff on the first episode, but I hope they don't do so much or so many regularly, just because with just an hour show, I feel like they need to have as much wrestling as they can, especially with the cruiserweight division. People are already kind of giving up on the cruiserweight division the way it's been booked on Raw. I think they need as much wrestling as they can. Obviously, you have backstage segments here and there and video packages here and there, but I don't want too many to a point where you get maybe 2 or 3 matches in an hour, whereas we don't get as much wrestling on NXT as we used to, but we used to get like a stacked card on an hour show, when it first came on the network. So I hope they kind of start doing it like that. Ari Daivari versus my boy Jack Gallagher. I popped so hard for Jack. I thought this match was awesome, and I know a bunch of people that I watched a couple reviews on 205 Live just to see what other people thought about it, and a bunch of people said that they thought this was the best match on the card, other than the Cruiserweight title match. But I think the Cruiserweight title match was kind of hyped up just because it was for the title. But an extraordinary win by the extraordinary gentleman, Jack Gallagher. So excited. And then we had the Cruiserweight Championship match, Brian Kendrick versus Rich Swann. Great match, even though the Dirty Deets with Amy and Miley ruined the outcome for me, because I did watch 205 Live late. They ruined it for me on Twitter.
And then you ruined it for me?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm that guy. I'm that bitter. And your new Cruiserweight champion, Rich Swann. And then Rich Swann hitting them heartstrings, talking about his mom. I was like, bruh, come on. Don't make me cry. I don't like that 205 Live is recorded after SmackDown. And it's still supposed to be a Raw show. It kind of, I feel like, to me, it should kind of, or I wish it was its own kind of separate entity, kind of like NXT is. I mean, they could even, have it recorded in NXT Arena, before or after NXT. That way, you could have an NXT show and then a Cruiserweight Classic show. That way, the fans aren't as wiped out, and they get kind of, more bang for their buck, I guess.
The Young Bucks coming to WWE? Is that what you?
No,
is that what you were implying?
no,
it was.
Also, I feel like it kind of kills the quote unquote brand split with this show being a Raw show, but clearly being recorded after SmackDown and in the same arena as SmackDown is. It's supposed to be, brand split. There's supposed to be Raw versus SmackDown, not Raw and SmackDown with Raw on SmackDown.
It's weird because like having like Morrow, commentate over it is kind of it's weird within itself because it's kind of like you guys are supposed to be lucky to be seeing this, but then like you get to do it every week, so it's like, wait, what? I thought we weren't supposed to get this. It's weird.
I still feel like Kalisto should have won the title, and I think that could have been better because then you could have it still after SmackDown and then. Or, maybe before SmackDown to kind of get the fans hyped and ready for SmackDown. But then you could still technically, then technically SmackDown would kind of have 3 hours and Raw would have 3 hours. But I don't know. I think the booking of this being after SmackDown is just a bad idea. Not only is it confusing with, a Raw show being on SmackDown, but by the end of the show, the fans, there were pictures tweeted out by a bunch of different people where half the crowd had already left before 205 Live, even started. But I don't know. I definitely like the show and I'm excited for it. Definitely going to give it a chance. Hopefully they book it well and it keeps going.
But I feel like too the purple ring ropes and the little stuff they do for like just the cruiserweight division doesn't feel as gimmicky when it's by itself like this. Because I know we had talked about this off camera, but it doesn't feel as gimmicky when it's by itself because it makes it feel like it's its own thing. And like with this show being its own thing, well, I mean, Raw's ropes are red for the most part, are red for the most part. So like, it's not like it's an issue. But I don't like that they don't have actual ropes. It's just like a covering on them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I maybe it's just like a nitpicky thing, but it's just like it feels cheap to me. When you have ropes for Raw, you have ropes for SmackDown, which you act like the cruiserweight division is this big thing, but then it's just like if they can make it look better, I'd be fine with them just covering them up. But I don't know, it's just weird. I also thought it was weird that like the ring posts were blue in a lot of the shows this week. I don't know, did you catch that? Like, and maybe it was just me noticing these little things, but like during I think it was during NXT they were blue. During this show, they were blue, and obviously during SmackDown, they were blue.
This man just complains about everything.
I really don't. I just thought it was weird. Like it was just weird because like WWE is so color coded now. like WWE is so color coded about everything now. So like it was just weird. Like that the ring posts were blue. I just thought that you're gonna notice something weird one day, and I'm gonna be like. You notice the stupidest stuff. Watch, it's gonna happen. I know.
It's not gonna happen.
But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. This was your WWE Weekly Review. Be sure to hit that subscribe button for us. Give us a like, on it, and share it with your friends. See what they thought about WWE this week. We had Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and now 205 Live. So I'm interested to kind of see. How, especially 205 Live is going to continue to build because we've seen Raw for like ever, we've seen SmackDown for like ever, And at least we've seen NXT for a couple of years, so we kind of know how they develop. But like with 205 Live, it's a different thing, so it's gonna be interesting. And they actually still have Talking Smack too, so I'm glad they kept that. I don't watch it, but for those who do, it's probably a good thing. I would watch it if I don't get to watch SmackDown Live, so I never get to really watch Talking Smack. But anyway, we'll see you guys later. We do hope you guys enjoy. This is your weekly WWE review on the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always, and I mean always, an instant.